Welcome to Rob's Roundup with Bennett Staff. Temporary staffing should be your strength, not your biggest headache. Today we're talking flexibility versus risk and how to get the balance right. Today I'm with Chris.
Morning.
Morning.
All right.
Question for you first to kick us off. Why do employers still rely so heavily on temporary labour?
Under planning. I think a lot of the time can be from underestimating the staffing they're going to need throughout the year, under anticipating what orders they're going to be getting through, and not planning correctly for it.
Sometimes those peaks come out the blue, don't they? So I think that's the benefit of having that sort of quick service with a temp. But sometimes the planning side is great. Obviously, the more notice we can get, the better.
Ideally, yeah. For our side of things, to plan and prepare to get people in place, it gives you a better opportunity. Unfortunately, shortfalls, they come and go. They come out the blue, and it leaves you unprepared.
But I think because I was saying to Claire in another conversation we had about business is still very up and down for a lot of people at the moment. I think January started off really strong, but I think a lot of places are still finding that where it's hard to predict moving forward. Is that conversations you're having, does that match similar?
In some cases, yes. Again, some people are waiting to find out what's going to happen over the next coming months. Yeah. Because unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of changes. National living wage.
Can't get away from those.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of the key points, especially for industrial sectors with a lot of people that are on minimum wage. It can be a massive factor for large employers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So gauging of whether they're bringing in permanent people, bring temporary people, it's planning what's going to be best to make sure they've got the work there for the staff as well.
Are you finding anything that sort of revolves around sort of absence, turnover, reliability issues? Is that a big factor as to what you've been dealing with recently with companies?
To some extent. Unreliability can be a big issue. Absence, timekeeping, attendance it's always going to be one of the key factors to finding new staff due to poor attendance from people. It's one thing we're not going to be able to combat. But again, it's trying to implement processes in place for companies to give people benefit to work with that. And it's hard to say sometimes, unfortunately, with the way things go like that.
I think bottom line, what we're getting to is temps are basically still remain critical across warehousing, manufacturing, engineering, logistics. It's hard to plan due to work. Sometimes there is that sort of change in workforce a little bit, which needs to be reacted quickly to, like you've just said. With temporary staffing, where do you find it sometimes goes wrong from an employer side? So obviously, we try and do what we can, but sometimes for the employer, when they get the temporary staff in, all of a sudden it might not work for them for whatever reason. Do you find?
A couple of points: lack of information from the start. Obviously, information that we're given when we're taking the booking to provide to the candidates, we can find that sometimes, if it's the case of I need a member of staff, they're a warehouse person, as an example, I need them tomorrow, and that's all we receive, there's not much to work from.
Yeah, it's quite a broad type of role to fill then, isn't it, rather than a specific?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The more detail on the specification gives us a bit more insight to what we're looking for in a candidate. Again, whether it's engineering, manufacturing, even commercial, catering roles, there's so many different variations of what one company will want from another company within a warehouse environment.
Do most companies still have the job specs that you've asked for? Do you know when?
Majority do.
So we'll get like a written job spec, and from your servicing point of view, you must find that easy because you've got like a checklist
100%
to work off.
100%, yeah, definitely. If we've got that checklist to work through, again, we can find the key aspects of what that person's done, what their background is, and make sure they are the right match for that role, because there's nothing worse in the world, like you said, somebody going in, not knowing what they're expected to do, just assuming they're going in to do it as an example, a warehouse role, and it's nothing like it when
just trying to wing it where it's not going to work.
Puts the candidate on the back foot, puts the company on the back foot as well. The person's not going to work out, they're not going to be happy, and they're more likely to leave sooner than anticipated.
So from an employer's point of view, again, to sort of reduce that sort of absence that they might be feeling, that sort of churn of people coming in and out, a bit of an evolving door scenario in some companies, how can employers reduce that from what you've seen?
Implement a bit of a clear structure from day one. So obviously the spec from the beginning from our side, arriving on site, clear understanding of what their aspect of the role is going to be, who they're reporting to, where they're going, what department they're working in. Again, it just gives them a bit of an open open book to what their role is.
Yeah.
Again, if there's doubt there for that person, that's
starting on the right foot. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And then I imagine it's
Right.
yeah. But I imagine that it's training after that, isn't it? Which
And
it
then
all
it comes
boils
to
down
training.
to. Yeah.
Again, same thing with any new person. There's always going to be some form of training involved. So I think companies got to understand that they're not just going to come in and sit in from day one and be the right person. It's going to take a week or two, maybe could be a month, depending on the extent of the role as well.
Yeah.
And have faith in that person as well. Sometimes that
Give them the opportunity. Yeah. We've seen that before, where we think sometimes give that person a few days, settling in time. You see the true reflection of what they can do then after that time. Yeah, there's some good workers out there, but some people aren't confident straight away. They just need that bit of time to bed in, don't they?
Unfortunately, we get it. Some companies will make a decision within 4 hours, and I personally, that's my opinion, it's not enough time. Try and give it more time.
I think if we try and do what we can to try and set them up the best way we can, then hopefully if the company try and match with the training, then that blend should be there. But sometimes one thing can be missing, and then house of cards scenario, isn't it? Yeah. So from a compliance side of things, because obviously compliance is a big thing at the moment, what's the biggest compliance mistake with temps, do you think? Because we do a lot of compliance, don't we, before we get people started?
Yeah.
Is there anything within that sort of compliance scenario where issues can, occur from pretty quickly?
It's tricky. Obviously, with the compliance side, it's a big thing. It's a massive thing. Obviously, we've got to make sure that, again, especially right to work documentation, proof of national insurance, proof of address, is there from the start before even entertaining looking at candidates moving forward to the role. I think some companies don't realise that that's been done beforehand. And that it's something that they need to do as part of their checks as well. From an agency point of view, that we're doing that, it's done and completed, it saves them time. But also it reduces that time of the person going somewhere else, because if they're having to wait to do an additional right to work check as such, with the company, if it's already been done through the agency, that person's still looking for work elsewhere. You could get to that point, yes, the right to work check's been done by said company, person's already gone somewhere else. And that can be a big factor as well, to lose good people.
I think speed through the process is pretty much essential, isn't it? I think what we're doing now is getting people through that compliance bit as quick as we can. It was a thing for years where that side used to take quite a bit of time, but a bit of modern technology, a bit of different ways to do the checks and the trust ID checks and the share code checks and things like that. It all just moves it along a little bit quicker.
Definitely. I think, again, since COVID, I know it's the bad word, but it changed a lot of things. There is some positives that have come from that, obviously with the newer checks, the online check-in, it has sped some processes up. But there is some processes that are still outdated, in my opinion, that need to be modernised.
Obviously, there's a time aspect regarding that as well. Your take on references, are you still a fan of having that sort of reference in place?
Definitely, it just solidifies a bit more about the experience, again, because the CVs, you can give a picture of what they've done, but to solidify it from actually speaking to a company where they've worked, you have actually done that work. Again, especially for more the skilled roles, your engineering, your fabrication, them types of roles, this person could have been a welder for 20 years, but when it comes to the references, they were actually doing assembly, they hadn't done welding, they probably did it twice in the last 10 years, and it's completely different. So again, these critical things like that to verify, and it solidifies the experience that person's done, and solidifies our choice on putting them forward for that job.
I completely agree. Obviously, we've got April 26 changes coming up, like we said before, pressures, so employers now are preparing, obviously, themselves for it. So what, in your eyes, what should they be doing to sort of, as from an employer's point of view, to prepare for these changes in April?
That's all it is. It's planning and just being aware of what changes are coming into place. Not leaving it to the last minute, because years gone by, we've had that question where, I've only just realised that this is coming to play and it's mid-March, and we need to plan for this. It should be done now. It should have been done 6 weeks ago, personally.
I completely agree.
It's been prepared for that and not let it shock the companies.
This seems to be a big one that comes up every year, and it is annually now, isn't it?
Every year. There's always something comes up with it.
It doesn't seem to be something that's going away. I think people do leave it till the 11th hour, and that is the problem. Obviously what we're trying to do, quite rightly, is advise anybody that we're dealing with about any rate changes and things in good time, you know, so you can prepare for budgets and one thing or another. Yeah. But it's unfortunately something that none of us could get away from. It's more all about preparation, isn't it, and trying to advise people the best way to go. If anybody does struggle with it from a company point of view, what would you advise? Come to you for a bit of extra advice, maybe?
Yeah, ask a question. Again, there's no stupid questions when it's coming to, especially information like right to work checks, changing holiday pay, sick pay, things like that. There's going to be big differences. Advise us. We can advise you of what the next step would be, or companies as such. We can find out if it's something we're a bit unsure on ourselves.
The answers, but if we've not, we've got, you know, HR and things like that can always provide us with answers that go a bit beyond our... Yeah, the REC is a big one.
The things that we can always go to them with questions, they will always provide us with the answers for that, and if it's something that we're not sure on.
The REC legal team, they're the pinnacle for getting you the right answer. Yeah. The thing is, we want to be able to quote the right things back, and obviously if we receive a query that we don't know anything about to a large degree, we'll find the answers. Yeah. Okay, so I think it's fair in saying if you only bring temps in during emergencies, you're already 1-0 down, you're already losing the game. Yeah,
you're on the back foot.
So some quick fire questions now. What would be your best temp workforce tip?
Having things in place ready for when they're coming into the business. Preparation for that really is giving us advice and saying, right, I need this person, this is what's going to be coming in. These are the key factors that are going to be starting off doing. I want people who've got that sort of background first. Yeah. So it limits the initial training, obviously because there's going to be some point at training anyway, but it does eliminate some of that to give them, they've done that type of work before, they know sort of an insight of what this is doing. They've either worked with this machine before or this equipment before. They've got an understanding to start off quick. The other things can probably be trained probably at a later date, within sort of a couple of days, a week or so thereafter, but it's that initial getting them up and running straight away.
Initial training,
and it
core skills are there.
Comes back to that spec at the beginning as well, from what we talked, basically what we talked about earlier on.
Yeah.
That guidance of what's needed.
It's literally the starting point.
Yeah.
Worst habit employers have at the moment. Have you noticed any habits within certain employers that we could maybe advise against, or maybe something that could help them do things a little bit better in the future with new starters? Being
unsure of the sort of duration. We've had a couple of scenarios myself where we've had candidates, they really like the person, they don't know how long they're going to keep them for, and just unsure. The person's then unsure themselves, they've gone somewhere else. They want continuity to work. They've not got a full week or a couple of weeks of as it's planned. It's maybe just a day-to-day as it stands. They lose that person, they're on the back foot again. We've tried to train somebody and they've lost somebody that potentially could have been good for them long term. Yeah, so again, try and forward plan. Where they can, obviously, if it is going to be a particular period of time, tell us that. We can obviously advise the worker of that, and then they can, fair enough, plan accordingly. Also, if they know it's going to be 3-4 weeks work, if they're coming up to a busy period, as an example, plan something for that period. Instead of, I'm just going to bring somebody in day to day and see how it goes, it's not giving them certainty. If they're going to still look at other work, you're likely to lose them quickly. Yeah, this is true. And then start again 3 to 4 days later down the line, you're starting again, you were a week, 3-4 days ago. You're back to training from scratch, aren't you? I think one thing we're good at is speaking to the companies weekly, just to make sure if there are any changes like that, we're sort of ahead of the game a little bit, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a key one, and then we can update the worker, start planning ahead if need be. Okay, so what position is temp labour at the moment? Using a football analogy, are we looking at defence or attack? What's the temp labour market like? From coming from sort of Christmas, New Year, it was a bit more of an attacking sort of scenario. Full on. Yeah. Just after Christmas, again, there was a bit of uncertainty of what order's going to be coming through, so it was more of a prepare stage sort of thing. Sort of man the cannons a little bit, prepare for the attack. Prepare for what's coming. It's transitioning between that attack and defence at the minute. Absolutely. Sort of the way around, defence to attack, I should say, sorry. So you're moving forward now, you're seeing as the work's slowly coming through, people are sort of relaxing a bit with expenditure, so to speak, and they're bringing more people in because they can see the work's going to be there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair to say. I think I feel like it's been, complete all-out attack. I think everybody's a little bit dubious about the defence side, a bit dubious at the back, but obviously it's a case of making sure we're ready.
Some people are taking
go.
risks. I think some companies are taking risks by bringing more and more people in anticipation of the work that's going to be there, which is, again, a really good thing. So
this is it. This is the planning. This is one thing that I was going to sort of finish with shortly about the temps. I think work best when they're sort of planned. Obviously, when they're respected and well managed in the workplace, then we do see a massive difference in retention rate and obviously people being happy to stay where they are.
Yeah.
But I think certainly when things are planned properly, forecasted, we tend to sort of see the best results, don't we?
I think one thing that's sort of highlighted as well is the way that temps can be treated within the workplace as well. A lot of companies still treat temps, they are just temporary workforce, they're not part of the business. And there is
a little bit of segregation.
There can be a bit of a divide, and you find that obviously when the temps come in and they're treated as a member of staff from day one, it's more comfortable. A bit more of a smoother working scenario.
Yeah. Feeling part of the team, part of the setup is...
You tend to you see people last longer. Yeah. They're not just a temp. When it comes to a mindset, oh, I'm just a temp, they say decided from themselves as well, they can leave at any time.
Yeah.
They're not just short term for the business.
Space to be in. We want everybody in. This is my job.
This is my job. I'm an employee here. I'm working for this company.
Yeah.
When it comes to a point of I'm a temp, I'm only here for a short period of time, I can leave whenever I want to. That's sort of the mindset you get from some people as treated as a temporary worker if they're not treated as a employee of that business. Yeah.
No, I think that's a great insight, Chris. Brilliant, thank you very much.
No
This has been Rob's Roundup with Bennett Staff and Christopher Marr covering the temp labour market. See you again soon.